chapter 10. Job continues his reply to Bildad. My soul loathes my life. I will give free course to my complaint. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say to God, do not condemn me. Show me why you contend with me. Angry fight, right? He said, I will give free flow to my complaint. It's like free flow of drinks. That means I will complain. Okay? I'm bitter. So, God, don't condemn me. Show me why you contend with me. Does it seem good to you, God? Does it seem good to you that you should oppress, that you should despise the work of your hands, and smile on the counsel of the wicked? In other words, why pick on me? But again, his assumption is flawed, because it is not God who is oppressing him. God is not destroying him. Do you have eyes of flesh, or do you see as man sees? You see, you're up there, you're not down here, you don't know. That's why you should listen to Hebrews chapter 4, the baptism message. But Jesus came, and because he understands our weaknesses, he understands our temptation and so on, and he did not sin. That's why we ought to cling on to Jesus. And when we do, we have a promise, and the promise is that we can come boldly before the throne of grace. So that was the message last Saturday or Friday. So he said here, do you have eyes of flesh? Do you see as man sees? He did know that years later, someone came. The Son of God became the Son of Man. He could see. Okay? He could see. He is like one of us. Okay, so Jesus knows how we feel. Verse 5. Are your days like the days of a mortal man? Are your years like the days of a mighty man? That you should seek for my iniquity and search out my sin. In other words, you don't understand me. You are not in my circumstances. You are up there, you are down here. So, on what basis do you judge me? That you would, search out my sin. You are not qualified. You follow me? I'm just putting it in that lay terms. Although you know that I am not wicked, I think Job needs some humility. He hasn't read Galatians chapter 5 verse 2 yet. 22. Fruit of the Spirit. 5:22. But okay lah, I understand he was suffering, he was really in pain. God, he feels that God is not on his side and his friends are definitely on the opposite side. And there is no one who can deliver from your hand. Although you know that I am not wicked, and there is no one who can deliver from your hand. No one can deliver me from your hand. Okay? Your hands have made me and fashioned me. An intricate unity. Yet you would destroy me. So, this is referring to the potter and the clay. Okay? Your hands, this is symbolic language. Your hands have made me and fashioned me. And those of us who went to Turkey, we went to a pottery factory or something, right? Then there was a live demonstration and so on. Now, all the potters are very proud of their creation. After they do it, then they paint the thing. See, this is my pot. Yeah, they're very proud. Then they do this for display, not for destruction. So God, you form me and you fashion me. And now you destroy me. I am confused. I don't understand. Okay? So your hands have made me and fashioned me. An intricate unity. Because very complex, everything together. yet you would destroy me. And we know in Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5. Okay, we will come to that next year. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. God said to Jeremiah, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I sanctified you. I ordained you a prophet to the nations. And we won't cover the rest, but just before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. God knows us. God knew Job. And if you knew me and you formed me, why are you destroying me? Remember, verse 9, back to chapter 10. Remember, I prayed that you have made me like clay. And clay is not strong. Clay is weak. Remember, I pray that you have made me like clay. And will you turn me into dust again? Remember, funeral, they say from dust to dust. Because Adam came from where? Dust. And will you turn me into dust again? Did you not pour me out like milk? Now, verse 10 to 12 talks about from conception to birth. That's why this author is champion. Wow, this was written either in Hebrew or in Aramaic. Okay. Did you not pour me out like milk and curdle me like cheese? Clothe me with skin and flesh, and knit me together with bones and sinews. So, this is the first part. Verse 10 is conception. And then the formation. Clothe me with skin and flesh, and knit me together with bones and sinews. And then verse 12 is birth. You have granted me life and favor, and your care has preserved my spirit. No need to go medical school already. No need to study gynecology. All here, 3 verses. From conception to birth. Good, huh? So he's telling God, did you not do all this? You did all this, or you formed me and you fashioned me. Why are you destroying me? Verse 13, and these things you have hidden in your heart. I know that this was with you. If I sin, then you mark me. That means what? You make me a target of your punishment, judgment, oppression, whatever. If I sin, then you mark me, and will not acquit me of my iniquity. If I am wicked, woe to me. Even if I am righteous, I cannot lift up my head. So even if I'm righteous, I cannot, you know why? Because I am pressed down under the weight of suffering. Even if I'm righteous, God, I cannot lift up my head. I am full of disgrace. See my misery. If my head is exalted, if I lift up my head, that means what? Like proud person, right? You hunt me like a fierce lion. And again, you show yourself awesome against me. Now, awesome against is not the awesome, no, it's like when we look at the constellation of the Lord, awesome, indescribable. This awesome means more suffering. Okay? Understand? This is more affliction. So, if my head is exalted, I lift my head up, you will hunt me like a fierce lion. And when the lion hunts you and catch you, the lion not going to lick you. He's going to have you for supper. And again, you show yourself awesome against me. More affliction. You renew your weaknesses against me. You know who are the weaknesses? There. Eliphaz, Bildad, so far. Wow, you will send more friends like this to come and torture me. You renew more weaknesses against me. And in so doing, and increase your indignation again towards me. Changes and war are ever with me. That means, army terms are, you are always sending fresh troops against me. One down, another one will come. Okay? Changes and wars are ever with me. Why then have you brought me out of the womb? Oh, that I had perished and no eye had seen me. That means what? You know, the last few verses we read from verse 8 onwards, and so on, talking about birth, from conception to birth. So he said all this, then he added all this, if I'm this, and so on. So, then why do you let me be born? I should be stillborn. I should have died at birth. You follow me now? No eyes would have seen me. Now, chapter 1, verse 1. Blameless, upright, love God, shun evil, man of God, but still a man. I repeat, he was a man of God, but still a man. In his flesh. Remember just now we read Paul, right, in Romans. In his flesh, no good thing. But of course, he was, by the power of the Spirit, under the empowerment, Paul did wondrous things for God. But in the flesh, dwell no good thing. A man of God, but still a man. So remember this. Don't go and kowtow and bow down and idolize any man of God. Because if the man of God should turn to Roman Catholicism, then what are you going to do? Turn to celibacy, become single. Okay, no. But our eyes are upon Jesus. Okay. Don't look at men of God. Yeah, we thank God for the men of God and the women of God, because God used them to edify the church, to build the church and so on. But that's all. The men of God. Did I say that? Men of God. Okay. But why then have you brought me out of the womb and watch him suffer? God, I am confused. Oh, that I have perished and no eye had seen me. I would have been as though I had not been. Means what? Means I have not been. Yeah. Don't even need birth cert. You understand? Don't need birth cert. I would have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease. Leave me alone, that I may take a little comfort. God, give me a break. I just need a little break. Okay? Before I go to the place from which I shall not return. You know what is he talking about? In the Old Testament, what's the word? Sheol. Okay? Sheol. That's where dead people go. Before I go to the place from which I shall not return. You see, they have no idea of the afterlife. Not yet. To the land of darkness and the shadow of death. Is that where you and I are working towards? No, but they don't have the idea of afterlife. You go and read all the way to Revelation 21. We shall be with God. Yeah? He shall be in the midst of us. No more tears, no more sorrow, no more pain, no more nothing. He shall be our God. That is what we are looking forward to, not to a land of darkness and shadow of death. Shadow of death, mostly quoted from Psalms 23, but it is not, not about death in that Psalms. Anyway, he wasn't alone in the Bible who wanted to die, who was so pessimistic or fatalistic. You know Elijah? Remember Elijah? By the stream. He did wondrous things, but he's scared of the queen. So he said, let me die, Elijah. And then Jonah also. Jonah, God said go left, he went right. Then when they found him out, okay lah, throw me into the sea, let me die. Okay, he wants to die. Don't have that thought. A land as dark as darkness itself, as the shadow of death without any order, where even the light is like darkness. This physics, I'm not so champion. Can you explain to me where light is like darkness? It's either light or dark. So this guy is really very pessimistic. He is living, though he's in the light, but he feels as if darkness is upon him. Okay? So, we learn one thing from this chapter. In your suffering, don't talk rubbish. Right? That's what it is, right? In your suffering, don't say unwise things. Okay, that's more theological. Don't say unwise things. But my language is, don't say stupid things, don't talk rubbish. Okay? That's chapter 10.